moving ahead to our second panel discussion of the day. This is for the new normal and future workforce. This will be our topic in discussion. This panel will discuss the new norm, which is to work from home, the changes in corporate policy, keeping in mind the bandwidth and security required to implement the new normal. Now, to moderate this session, we have Anshul Srivastava, CIO for Emirates Post. I'd like to now welcome also our esteemed panel. We have Piyush Kumar Chowhan, Group Chief Information Officer for Lulu Group International. Shafique R. Ibrahim, Chief Digital Information Officer for Fardan Exchange, and Jaleel Rahiman, IT Director for Prime Healthcare Group. I now hand over to you, Anshul. You have 20 minutes. I repeat, 20 minutes.
Okay, thanks, Carl. Thanks for such a wonderful introduction for this panel. Yeah, I mean that's one of the key things which have come up in recent times is on the how the world will shape up post pandemic, and what's going to be the new normal. How we are going to work on a new normal, and what's going to be the future of workforce or workplace. So the theme is very pertinent and so divine in today's parlance that yeah, we need to discuss, talk, and start working on a way we want to have a new normal. And that's precisely the reason I have esteemed panelists right from Piyush, Shafique, and Jaleel. I would request Piyush, Shafique, and Jaleel to give a 1 minute introduction about yourself, and then I can start posting questions about. So we'll start with Piyush.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Good to be here in this panel. I hope that we are able to have a good discussion as far as my Lulu group. Been here just short of an year. Prior to that, working mostly with international retail globally, trying to implement digital tools and digital transformation programs in my past life.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Piyush. Shafique, would you like to add something about yourself?
Hi, good afternoon, or rather good morning, good evening, depends on where you're joining from. Well, I have been in the industry for past 20 years, mainly around payments technology. I'm a group CDIO for the Fardan Exchange or one group of companies. I mean, mainly working around digital transformation, enabling payments, looking at technology, cybersecurity, as a complete, what do you call, a product that we look at. I'll keep it very brief. We have only 20 minutes, so I'll keep it a very brief session.
Thanks, Jaleel. Jaleel, would you like to add 1 more minute of your introduction?
Sure. Thank you, Anshul. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jaleel. I'm the IT Director for Prime Healthcare Group. I've been in this part of the world working in this part of the world for more than 22 years now. Been in the healthcare with Prime for almost 6 years. Previous to that, I was with a multinational pharmaceutical organization, again, working in this region as well as some global roles. And previous to that, around 10 years of experience in any insurance. So I'm
to give you a brief introduction about myself, I'm a CIO at Emirates Post. It's been like 10 months there. Before that, I was with Union Insurance, working as a CIO and a Chief Digital Officer there. Been in this part of this world for the last 5 years, worked globally across many countries. So yeah, new normal for me in last 15 years was a normal maybe in other parts of the world, because working from home or working from anywhere is something which was not unknown to the other parts, especially in Southeast Asia and US. So very first question which goes into the panel, is work from home going to be a new normal, or are you going to see people coming back to offices post-COVID? Or if they're coming back, it's going to be a kind of a hybrid model, and let's see some kind of way the method of working would change. So yeah, I mean, Piyush, what are your thoughts on that?
Sure, I think it's a very pertinent question, and I think there has been a lot of press, a lot of coverage on this topic of late. So there are two kinds of organizations which are out there. There are obviously these new digital organizations which always had work from home. So I don't think there is anything new for them. There is the second set of organizations which were kind of non-digital. So, for example, a lot of the food sector, a lot of the hospitality sectors. Obviously, you cannot say that I'm working in a hotel or in a resort, and then I can work from home. So there are certain jobs which obviously never will see work from home as a opportunity. But there are this middle office, head office kind of roles where people would not, particularly in this part of the world, people would not have experimented work from home and said, or thinking that it may ever happen. For them, I think it's a new normal, and it has been proven, unfortunately, because of COVID, that yes, it works. But that one of the alarming thing which has come out, and I think which I want to bring your attention to, what Satya Nadella referred to in his remark. And he said that making work from home permanent is going to have a very detrimental effect on human beings. And I think I strongly believe in that. So my view here would be that we should do that, and we should follow as a hybrid model, but making it permanent is going to be detrimental in terms of our evolutionary evolution of our human brain. It will be detrimental in terms of our ability to collaborate. It will be detrimental in terms of our social behaviors and things like that. So I think we need to be a little cautious before taking it too far and making it a very, very permanent situation. Once in a while, giving that flexibility to people is always a good thing. It gives a break, it gives flexibility for people. And what we have seen is that work from home actually has given higher productivity to a lot of organizations, just because you are able to do multitasking, you are able to save a lot of unproductive time for whatever reason. So there are benefits to it, but I think I would recommend that we take it with a bit of a caution so that we don't go too far, that it has a negative impact on
it has its own set of detrimental effects in terms of working from home. It's psychological as well. It's like putting person from where he gets up in the morning to work, to do everything at home, and including the work. It becomes really, really tiring, stressful, and not worthy enough. So I would extend this question. It's just not work from home. It's like work from anywhere. I mean, let's not make it a particular location specific thing. And this concept has been there globally. Work from anywhere has been there. It's not that it's nothing new. It's not there in this part of the world, because there has always been a trust factor of people coming to office, attendance. This part of the world had that kind of a feeling. But other parts of the world, personally, I worked in Southeast Asia from work from anywhere. There, the thing was like, I mean, the offices used to get shrink just because people were always on the move. Either they are traveling or on a vacation, or working from any other office. So, or any other place. I mean, like a coffee shop or a worthy place. That's how the concept of WeWork came in, and WeWork became a success. But somehow it has its own side effects, so we'll not get into that. So yeah, I mean, let's put it extended to work from anywhere, with the response coming from Shafique. What are your thoughts on that? I think you are on mute, Shafique.
Yeah.
Anshul, I totally agree with you, and Piyush, same, because hybrid is something we to go forward with. I mean, working home is nothing new. I would say it's a new acceptance, a cultural change that has come in. All right, COVID has kind of taught us to accept the fact that yes, you can work from anywhere and you can still be productive. So earlier the concept was like being in the office 9 to 5 was considered productivity. Actually, that's functionality, not productivity. There's a difference in that, right? But now working from anywhere is more productive. By the time that you spend, on travel, time that you spend on getting ready, and so now you have the flexibility to work from anywhere, as long as the enterprise is capable, the IT is agile enough to support that kind of environment. I think working from anywhere is nothing new. Again, is acceptance by various departments. And when I say HR has to accept the fact that yes, you can work from anywhere and you can still be productive. This compliance, the security should also make sure that the environment is rightly set for them to work from anywhere, right? And it's more of an enterprise accepting the fact. And as we rightly said, not everybody can work from anywhere. I mean, it has to be balanced. We need to have people on ground. So for example, I come from money exchange, remittances business. During COVID, during lockdown, remittances was considered as a critical service, and our branches were open. So during that time, also we had people in the branches, whereas we at the back office we were off. We could work from anywhere. right? But then again, the psychological factor did come in place. I used to visit office, once in 2 days just to get that feel of it. Like, I mean, they couldn't be locked down at home. So, but again, this is more of a culture. So if an enterprise or business unit can perform from anywhere and they have all the tools and support, governance in place, why not? It's just a matter of accepting it and having the right framework. Because Anshul, what you say is right. In this environment, I mean, this region, we are not ready for this, but we don't have those kind of even the governance in place, and that's something that we have to build. So we have learned now, and we are building. We are building frameworks around that to work from anywhere. We are putting the IT strategies in place, IT security strategies in place. In place to support all that. But it's a hybrid. Definitely, it's a hybrid for sure.
I mean, a very important point you raised is about the governance part of it. And here the catch is, people do talk about the productivity of it. And productivity is always something which has been, I mean, used, misused, abused in many forms. I mean, even working in the office will not make sure that your productivity is great. So it doesn't make a sense. And that rolls back to a question that people like waiters, people on the retail stores, or like the branches you mentioned about your branches as critical unit in the everything can be digitized. I mean, now with aggregation of food chains coming in, people are getting things delivered at home rather than going into a restaurant. Restaurants are getting shrinked. So I mean, gradually you will see a different version of the business model evolving, and that would lead to a different form of new jobs getting created. Working from home would be a way of calling it, or working from anywhere would be a way of calling it, but jobs would be done and new sets of jobs would get created. Yeah, I mean, definitely healthcare would require no working from home. I would say that Jaleel should highlight that, because doctors need that kind of a touch. And working from home, I mean, telemedicine or whatever medicine may come in, doctors are required, and they are always going to be on forefront. Jaleel, your thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. But however, our experience during this time, the telemedicine usage or the adoption of it, not just from the doctors, also from the patients, actually shot up. We did around, almost 15,000 teleconsult in just this period of 2.5 months, where we were hardly doing any before. It was just a new service launched, and I've seen other statistics where teleconsult has gone really shot up. And going back to Piyush's point on, the two different aspects or two different ways of looking at it, there are organizations, I've been in one of them, where, home working has been a norm for a very long time. And there are these new organizations who are adopting it. So I think in the healthcare as well, telehealth is something which was there, but there was a bit of resistance from the physicians and and a lot more from the patients, where would they prefer to go there. But I think this situation has taught everybody a lesson that it is possible, and especially for chronic conditions where it is just medication refills, it can be done. And there are now further branches of it coming out. For instance, we've also done drive-through vaccine. Now that's an extension of a telemedicine, because your consultation and everything happens beforehand, and then you actually do your paperwork and other things, insurance approvals, everything required beforehand. All you need is very short time to get the job done for the vaccine. So, that shortens the whole time spent by the patient at the facility, and also gives a better experience. So I think the digital part of it is definitely transforming how things are done. Yes, the personal touch and that physical, presence for doctors would be required, but there's a good percentage of activities which can be done digital, and I think that's how organizations have started looking at it from the healthcare perspective.
It's going to continue on a hybrid mode, Jaleel, especially the core sectors like healthcare and defense and the police. All that has to be taken up. There you can't do much, but there has to be a gradual and a hybrid transition which needs to happen. See, now it's asking more of a change in human ways of looking at things. I mean, after maybe many decades, we are seeing a kind of a pandemic which has shaken up, and which has shaken up our thoughts, shaken us up in many ways in terms of the way we think, the way we live, the way we want to move on in life. So yeah, I mean, definitely. So to wrap it up, it's something which all the panelists and myself agree upon. That it's going to be a kind of a hybrid setup which will get evolved over a period of time, and then maybe new business models will evolve. I mean, whether it's in healthcare, whether it's in restaurant business, or whether it's police business, some kind of a hybrid model will evolve, wherein the different versions of different version and technology piece would be taken up to evolve as a way of working. Then that leads to another question. What are the top priorities do you think a CIO should look at as a CIO or an IT director for post-COVID? I mean, right now we're still living in the world of COVID, but post-COVID is going to be something needs to be planned now, and it has to be planned now. So, I mean, I again go back to Piyush to start with. What are your thoughts on that, Piyush?
Sure, I think it is for sure that the world post-COVID will see some permanent changes, which I think is what we're talking about, being a new normal. So what needs to happen is digital transformation was a theme for the last maybe 5, 6, 10 years across the various sectors and the industries which are out there. But I think those goals, which were more long-term, saying that it will take 5 years, 10 years for companies to transform, those will accelerate. And I've been kind of saying it very vocally that digital transformation goals will be kind of accelerated. Organizations need to do things much faster, and that is now proven as part of I would say digital transformation journey during COVID time. The organizations were more agile, the organizations were more adaptive. So that is one part of in terms of workforce, since we're talking about workforce. The second part is, how do you make sure that your application stack which is out there is ready for this kind of anywhere working? Yeah, that is the most important part. Then if you are having a large monolith application which is not very modular, if it is not based on microservices architecture, then your ability to work from anywhere is restricted and curtailed by that much time and effort. So it is a good opportunity for IT leaders across the board to think about those journeys which they would have planned for the next 3, 4, 5 years. To look at it, use, I think Damodaran was talking about how to use the Strangler patterns to break the monolith into microservices based architecture applications. How do you make sure that you convert everything into a more CI/CD platform using DevOps? So these are things which will be required and are necessitated by this new normal of work from anywhere. So until unless you do that, not only as a lip service, but as in the spirit, you will not be able to enable your entire workforce to really be very nimble and agile to work from anywhere. So we are living in a world of gig economy, right? You may want to hire, let's say, if you don't have for example, visa restriction will be a new norm in all the countries, and people will be restricted to travel. How do you make sure that somebody in, let's say, Poland, or somebody in Syria, or somebody in wherever, in whichever part of the world, you can hire developers and who can work? That can happen only if you are set up in that fashion. And that is the most important aspect that IT leaders should look at, and then build the enterprise towards that.
Thanks for fantastic thought. Good takeaway from you was a gig economy. It is now things are going to be more, IT would be more on-demand setup rather than investing heavy on capex, and the opex will take over capex part of it. So it is even at the resource level, the services level, the infrastructure level, more on-demand services would come in the picture to actually support the organization strategy or a business strategy. Agree with you, Piyush. I mean, we just have 3 minutes, so I would request Shafique and Jaleel to. I'm sorry, we got a bit taken away by the thoughts of this thing. So Shafique, what's a quick one? Your thoughts, 1 minute thought on this. Yeah, again on mute, Shafique.
Mute. So yeah. So I mean, similar thoughts, right? And I would say the three important things to really look at in terms of faster delivery. One is the cloud adoption, very important, especially looking at more of outsourcing. Don't try to do things in house. That takes a lot of time. And as what you said, hiring is a challenge, right? So let's not look into that part, right? Somebody out there does a better job. Get engaged with them to do the faster delivery rather than trying to build something in house. Don't do that one. Automation. not only IT, but even the business has realized the value of automation. So everyone's going through that one. There's a lot of demand from the business units to automate their own processes. So that's something that's very, very, very important as well. And then we're talking about customer experience, like chatbots and all. And this is something that's another thing that we have seen during the COVID that was what's needed, because the shortage of staff to serve the customers, and then you wanted to automate this. So that was something very important. I mean, overall, I would say a digital transformation. The way we interact with the customers, the way we do backend processes are very important, and that's where the whole focus is. I mean, the whole investment has gone through that, and definitely supported by the security. Very important. I mean, it was important before, but earlier we had all those parameters well controlled, but now we're looking at services being offered from home, which means now we are going beyond the barriers that we have put. So security is definitely highly important, and looking at the right governance, the right framework around it.
Cool, great. Jaleel, your thoughts?
Yeah. Thanks, Jaleel. So I'll come back to the same. I think one of the key priority as an immediate priority is the widen the reach of and scope of the telehealth that we already started a few months back. On top of that is the digital transformation. So like Shafique said, it's about patient experience. There is a good piece of the whole process or the journey of the patient that can be digitalized and keep that valuable conversation or that experience with the physicians, which is the direct contact, but can we transform the others into a digital experience? So that's really one part of it. And the others is the automation internally, the internal processes, the RCM, the revenue cycles, revenue management cycles, and every other process can be automated. Can we look at, we have been doing work from home for the contact center. Contact center, a good piece of or good population of that has been working from home, and they've been able to be more productive. Going back to our earlier discussion, right? So, are there other areas where similar approaches can be adopted? Is what we're looking at right now. So, I think these are the priorities in terms of technology, and definitely when we widen up and give a better access, even for doctors from home, because some of the doctors were doing teleconsult from home. Security is definitely of prime importance as well.
Fantastic. Good. Let's wrap up and open the
Thank you
floor
so much,
for the
Anshul.
questions
I do have to
Karan.
end your session. It has been an incredible session. Thank you, gentlemen. Any questions that are coming through, do feel free to answer those on the chat, on those Q&A sections there for those questions that are coming through. For all our panelists, you can answer those questions